Ask a Kentuckian where she's from and she just might give you a county name, as in, I'm a native of Hickman County or I'm a native of Pike County. I think this is because Kentucky is still a very rural state. A lot of people live in the county and they go to county schools. I also grew up in the county. This one right here, which was named by Progressive Farmer magazine, is one of the top places to live in rural America in 2007. They had to wait for me to move out of the county before they could give it the #1 designation. Nationwide, the farm population has declined since World War II, but in Barron County, you'll still find a lot of small family farms. Today, we'll visit a thriving country store that serves this rural populace. Let's go see a couple of the reasons why Barron County is one of the best places to live in rural America. So I'm here at the Bon Air store in Deli, in the big community of Bon Air, Kentucky, talking to Gabe Esters. Gabe makes good homemade bread here, and this is one of the rare finds in the countryside of Kentucky, a country store that's actually thriving. Gabe, tell us how you came to bread making and how you came to run a country store.
Well, about 5 years ago, I just, for some reason, decided I wanted to make my own sourdough bread. And I searched for some recipes. It took me about 6 months to finally find the recipe I wanted and get the bread working out the way I wanted. And took maybe another 4 or 5 months to get it right the way I wanted. And then it just so happened that the farmer's market in Glasgow started up, and I thought, well, hey, I'll raise some produce, and before my produce comes in, just sell some bread. And well, the bread took off and sold better than the produce ever would have, so I just forgot selling the produce and started making bread.
That's awesome. You're talking about the Bounty of the Barons market, which occurs when?
It's on Saturdays from 8 to noon. And now we are on the square in Glasgow.
That's right on that beautiful town square, the center of Barron County, Glasgow, Kentucky.
Yeah.
You also, I think, doesn't your wife Susan go sell down at the Bowling Green market?
She goes down to the community farmers market for me on the corner of Campbell Lane and Nashville Road. But sometimes we switch it up, and I will go down there, and she'll go to Glasgow for me. So it's kind of hard being in two places at once. But being those farmers market, people like to talk to the folks that actually make and grow the products they're getting. So,
what do you see as the future for your country market, this particular one, and just country markets in general?
They're a dying breed. Sadly, we're losing a lot of them. Mm-hmm. Hopefully we'll be able to keep it up here and keep going and thriving and serving the community. And hopefully people realize that are in Glasgow, hey, we're not too far out of town to drive here and have a good lunch, a local home-cooked meal.
This is Bon Air sourdough I'm going to be eating with my sandwich.
Yes.
How about you show us some of your wonders of bread making?
Yes, let's go.
And by the way, I'm glad to see a big, strong guy doing the work of making bread.
That's right. Well, people say, well, you must have a nice bread machine. I'm like, I do. It's my hands. I do it all by hand.
That's right.
Yeah.
Let's go see some bread.
Let's go.
All right. Hey, folks, when we return, Gabe's going to show us how to start a loaf of sourdough bread. We're here in Gabe's kitchen. I'm sipping on some of his delicious sweet tea. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Not too sweet, just right. Yeah. And Gabe's going to show us about his sourdough bread making.
Well, I've already got my flour, my sugar, and my salt in here. And so we're going to add our sourdough, some oil, and water.
So how old is your starter?
This starter has been going for about 2 years.
All right.
Some of it would die on me throughout the winter, so I'd have to restart it. But this, and you can get a nice.
It smells good. I love that yeastiness, and it's warm And
then my other starter, the San Francisco style, it's pretty strong as well.
My mom used to make sourdough bread and sell it to the ladies at South Green School, and I just got used to that aroma filling the house.
Oh yeah,
It's a really comforting smell.
and in the winter, setting it in a warm place because you'd have to find a nice spot.
Look how spongy that looks right there.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah. Now let's see how the master does it. It looks really, really soft.
it is,
That's
and
great.
and it's rather therapeutic. You wanna go at
Absolutely. So I'm wondering if now it's sticking to my fingers.
it? Yeah, it does mine too.
Now I can make biscuits, right?
Yeah.
But is there any secret to kneading? Basically, at this point, you're just trying to take up that moisture so you can actually knead, and
So it's not so sticky.
that's right.
Right. Yeah.
So how do you know at what point you have it where you want it before you can? Oh, now I feel it right now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like with biscuit dough, I try not to handle it too much. When I used to do it, I would make hockey pucks.
Yeah.
I would over knead them. How about with the sourdough?
Sort of the same way. Yeah, you don't want to overdo it. And again, that's something that I don't know if I could tell somebody. They would just have to watch me,
Right.
Because I just sort of do it and it feels right. Go, because some batches I have to knead more than other batches. Sometimes when you do with the, because I do add wheat to it sometimes and
Sure.
have wheat bread. So you have to work it a little more. And every now and then I'll do chocolate sourdough and add cocoa powder.
Oh, that sounds good.
And it has a completely different feel than that right there. So
No, I think this is getting a little sticky. Do we need
Okay.
more flour? at
Yeah,
this
yeah,
point,
let
or-
me-
Okay,
let me-
yeah, take over, Master.
yeah, you've
I've noticed that you and I are both kind of hirsute guys, right?
yeah.
And is there any trouble with hair getting into the bread? I know I shouldn't ask that, but
I've never had any complaints.
I think that the hand hairs they cling really hard.
Oh yeah. So no, I haven't, and of course that feels about right.
Look at you, man. You're fast.
And then that's it, and we'll set it in a warm place and cover it up. And about 8 hours from now,
Wonderful.
of course, at this time of day, I would have to either stay up late to get this ready to put into bread pans. But in about 8 hours or so, it would go. You would divide it into threes.
Okay.
So this is going to make 3 loaves.
Wow.
And it should rise up to here or even a little bit higher.
Okay.
And then you'll punch it down. You work it up. You do your 3 loaves, and then you let it rise for another 8 to 12 hours.
That's a
and then you
labor-intensive
bake it.
process.
Yeah, it's. You say it's a 2-day process. Well, it's maybe 30, 45 minutes all combined, but it's spread out one morning, one afternoon, or one evening, the next morning, the following afternoon.
How many loaves are you serving at the farmers market?
Here lately, I've been making upwards of 36 to 40 loaves of just sourdough.
For the Glasgow market only?
For both markets.
Okay.
So that's the Glasgow and the Bowling Green market. But now that tomatoes are really in season, I'm making what's called a tomato basil sourdough, an heirloom tomato.
Ooh, that sounds good.
And it's in pretty high demand, so most of my sourdough is made with the tomatoes and sourdough in with it.
You're raising your own tomatoes?
I am, but I'm not using my own tomatoes because I'm not making enough to put in my bread because I love tomatoes. My family loves tomatoes, so we like to eat our own tomatoes and can them ourselves. But I'm getting them from a few different people that produce a lot of tomatoes. Nathan Howe, Need More Acres.
We were at Need More Acres
yeah.
recently.
Yeah,
And we saw
yeah.
I tasted their delicious tomatoes.
Oh, yeah.
And
He
so those
has,
Need More Acre tomatoes are going into the bread that
Yes.
Gabe makes right
Yeah.
here at the Bon Air
Yes,
store.
and
Awesome.
they are awesome.
I'm really pleased to see this community coming together. You're buying the tomatoes of your local folks. Go ahead.
Bartering.
Yeah,
We
right?
barter. We don't necessarily
That's even
buy
better.
each
You don't
other's
need
stuff.
Uncle Sam to eat well, do you?
That is the awesome thing about the farmer's market because we trade things.
That's great.
So, it's like, hey, I like that bread. So, okay, here's this bread. I'll take your tomatoes. And so we do that with a lot of different people, a lot of different vendors. We do that trading, which is really nice.
I think it's fabulous,
that's
man.
old school, as they
It's
say.
total old school.
So,
when the grid breaks down, you will still be able to eat by bartering with
Yes.
your folks.
Yes,
When
exactly.
a dollar is no longer worth anything.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking
Oh, yeah.
forward to eating a deli sandwich with some of that meat from, you say, London, Kentucky.
Yeah.
And
From London.
hopefully some of your bread.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Folks, stick around to see the big old sandwich that Gabe makes with Kentucky ham and his fabulous bread. What kind of bread am I having here?
This is tomato basil yeast bread.
That sounds so good.
Yes.
And cheddar cheese, and then you have the Kentucky Proud ham that's made.
Yep, it's a Kentucky Legend ham, smoked ham, and it's a really good seller.
That sounds great. You know, when I was in high school, I used to work on the Sussexville dairy farm Larry Shirley owns out on 31E.
Oh, yeah.
And I would go up to Zach's Food Mart in Lucas because it was the closest country store, and I would get me a big old ham sandwich. They would slice it thick. And at that time, I ate it on white bread, but now I'm looking forward to having some of this sophisticated bread.
Oh, yeah.
So make me a sandwich, sir.
Yep, can do. Now, funny you say that. In college, I used to work here. And, of course, some would say that was a long time ago. Some wouldn't. As I think about it, it's probably a little further back than I realized. But I remember people would come in and they would want a cheese sandwich on crackers.
Yep.
And that's when you could still get
those big
square
raw crackers.
Yeah. Sadly, you can't get those anymore. I think they stopped making those.
Ooh, look at that. I don't know if my jaw's big enough to get that in my mouth in one bite. No, you don't have to squish it down. Heck yeah. Thank you, sir. That is a vision of Kentucky beauty. I am looking forward to chowing down on this. Let's go eat a sandwich. So I am about to chow down on this fabulous sandwich that Gabe's prepared for me. It probably weighs 2 pounds. No, it's not that much, but it's a heavy sandwich. And it looks beautiful, man. I'm looking forward to it. Here we go, going in for the kill. If I can get my mouth around that.
Need a fork and knife?
You don't need a napkin. So what we got here, that ham really comes through. Your bread is moist and delicious. I love the taste of tomato that you got in here. It's a messy sandwich, but I'm a happy guy. And of course I can taste the cheddar as well.
Oh yeah.
This is great. And you piled that ham up high like the good country stores do.
Oh yeah.
Nothing like it, man. It's a meal to last you until dinner time. After eating this, I can go to the fields, haul some hay, pal some tobacco back in the day, and then be ready to eat again come dinner time. This is great. Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
We're really lucky to still have a few of these country stores around. They're reminders of slower times when more people were involved in farming and we didn't live as fast. You can still get a taste of that at the Bon Air store.